Today's Sunshine Note is titled, The Southpaw. Ehud then approached Eglon while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace and said, I have a message from God for you. As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, and his bowels discharged. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat enclosed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. Judges chapter 3, verse 20 through 23. As you will see, there is a pattern to Israel's behavior in the book of Judges. When they behave as the Lord wants them to, they don't suffer the effects of sin. When Israel disobeys the Lord, essentially ignoring God, the effects of sin and disobedience make them subject to the nations around them. Today's chapter describes how for 18 years Moab had ruled over Israel. Moab's king, described as a very fat man, is named Eglon. King Eglon demands taxes and tribute from Israel. The Israelites do not like this, so they call out to the Lord and promise to obey him again. God sends Israel a deliverer named Ehud. Ehud is left-handed, and this plays to his advantage in the story. He and an entourage from Israel bring tribute to the Moabite king. After the group leaves, Ehud runs back and says, I forgot that I have a secret message for the king that is only for his ears. The king claps his hands and sends all his guards and attendants out. Ehud approaches the king, takes the sword from the sheath of his right thigh. When the king's men searched him, they likely would have checked his left thigh, where right-handed people kept their weapons, and drives it into the king's gelatinous belly. The Bible becomes vivid as it tells us that the fat on the king's belly engulfed the sword and made it disappear. Why go through this part of the Bible? Shouldn't we skip all the R-rated stuff? I believe each story in the Bible is there for a reason. In this case, we see again how God will use any means he can to protect his children when they call out his name. Ehud was a man of war and a man of God. Ehud then approached Eglon while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace and said, I have a message from God for you. As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, and his bowels discharged. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. Judges chapter 3, verses 20 through 23. May God bless you today.